My presentation is Don't Punish the Admins. Building a minimalist admin theme using Adminimal. And my name is Catherine Shaw. I'm here because I love DrupalCorn. It's my second one so far. You can find me on Drupal.org at jhawkfam75, and I work at Permit Source. Yeah, I've been there for almost a year, and before that I worked at a local government in Douglas County. So I'll just go over the basics. Ooh, basic. The basics, the admin theme and why it matters to you. What is an admin theme? An admin theme they're only for the admin pages of the Drupal site. The admin pages are rendered under yoursite.com/admin. So anytime you go to create content, go to configuration pages, those are all of the admin pages. And it's the theme that you see when you maintain your site or create meta content. Why is it important? For content creators, it's important because they need to enter content. And so obviously a good admin theme makes it easier for making daily tasks more efficient. For site admins, explaining content entry and management is easier, which results in less questions. And for stakeholders, obviously, that's more efficient, which equals less money spent, which they always love. So, what's the business case for a good admin theme, clean one? The first one would be using CSS customizations, you can add branding to your own client's organization. The second one would be more efficiency in entering content means a happier staff due to less phone calls and emails. And third would be that same efficiency can also result in financial savings for your organization. And the fourth is that it's responsive out of the box. So you don't have to build that responsiveness within the admin theme because it just comes responsive. So no additional work needed to do that. It's all there. This is an example of the Adminimal theme on an Android phone for the configuration page. So you can see that it's just pretty simple. It's got the icons on it, and it's very clean. Here's an example on an iPhone. So you can see that it's still very responsive. It's very responsive on a tablet and still very responsive on a desktop computer. What is Adminimal? It takes a minimalist approach to its design with clean lines, simple phrases, great tools, and helpful icons. It contains several built-in form features that will help your administrators when adding content throughout the site, and this in turn will lead to less phone calls and emails for you, leading to a more efficient workplace. It's one of my favorite phrases, obviously. Less is more. And it was coined by poet Robert Browning a long time ago. There are obviously other admin themes. The most well-known, obviously, is 7, which is built in with Drupal. So that's Drupal's default admin theme. And it's also clean and simple, but I always like to say that it's different shades of gray. I think everybody knows that. And I would say it's a little bit too minimal. And when I've worked with it in the past with clients, I find it difficult to tell them where things are with just the different levels of gray, because there's just not much differentiation between that, so between the different levels. And there is a D8 version, obviously, with core installed because it is the default admin theme. There's another one called Ember. It's got 49,030 installs. Some have reported compatibility issues. They did create a version that is supposed to resolve those issues, but they actually created a module called Ember Support that was just created for the issues, so that kind of tells you how many issues they must have with it. And there is no D8 version. And then there's another one called Rubik, which I have worked with, that has 14,838 installs. It has lots of colorful icons. And you must install the towel base theme to operate it properly. And there's no D8 version yet, although they are trying to create a D8 version, I believe. So why would you choose Adminimal over the other versions? There's obviously several others besides just those three, but I would say those are the top three that I've seen. It's easy to use, I found. It has a clean minimalist design. It's responsive out of the box, and it has great admin helper modules, the module filter and the CK editor. When you install those with that, with D7, obviously the CK editor, and with D8, WYSIWYG is automatically built into Drupal. But when you install those with them, it's very seamless and very clean. There are 59,545 installs as of July 31st, when I checked. It's actively maintained and under active development, and it has a stable D7 version, and it's D8 ready, which I find really very important when you're trying to, whether you're trying to find an admin theme that works for a client or whether you work with a company and you are working with a D7 site and you're hoping to do further work in the future, and you want to make sure that if you do a new site, that it'll be D8 ready. It's D8 ready, yes, it is. And I have tested this on a client's site, and it works great. And they do have a demo site that's down right now. That I actually have issued a report for them, and I haven't heard back on it yet. But once the demo site's up, it'll show you all of the interesting stuff that can be done with Adminimal. But it's very easy to install. So step number 2, making it custom. Steps for making customizing your own admin theme. Question would be, can you add custom menu styling? Yes. There's 2 different modules for doing so, depending on whether you're using D7 or D8. For D7, there's one called Adminimal Menu module, and I'll show you that in a demo in just a moment. And yes, I do have a demo. For D8, there's one called a Minimal Admin Toolbar module. So for the D7 version, the menu hierarchy is now simpler and easier to understand, removing the unnecessary transparency and only highlighting the correct menus. It really brings a lot of the admin menu effects, because that obviously is one of the dependencies that you can add to a Drupal 7 site to add the drop-down menus and everything to the Adminimal menu. So it's very clean and simple. And for the D8 version, the toolbar, it does a similar thing, because obviously the navigation is meant to be responsive, but it's really nice. So I'll show you that in just a moment. How do I create a subtheme? With Adminimal, you won't need to create a subtheme, although you can actually create a subtheme. Instead, it uses CSS code overrides to add custom features to your site. And to activate this option, you'll visit the Adminimal theme settings page and enable it with a custom CSS option, which I have an example. What kind of custom work can you do? You can add different skins. There's one that's in beta stage, but all of the other ones are not. You can show and hide icons on the configuration page. The default is to show them. You can add media queries, additional media queries to the already responsive Adminimal theme for mobile and tablet and other devices, and you can add your organization's logo if you wanted to. So it's demo time. So I will, let's see. So I went ahead and installed a D7 and a D8 site quickly. So you can see they're just the basic installs. So, so right now, if I go to here, you can see it's the wonderful 7 theme, because I have installed Adminimal. You could see that Does everybody know how to install a theme in here? Okay, so I won't go through that. So I've already installed Adminimal, but 7 is still the admin theme. So obviously when you go through here, we've all seen the usual 7 theme. So I'll go over here, and the first thing I'll do is just change this to Adminimal. You can see the usual gray on gray changes, and then the Adminimal adds colorful buttons. It adds lines for each section. You can see the blue line right here to separate the different sections. You can see the messages are very clean now. Instead of the bright box, it has a line on the bottom and the top with the icon. The buttons, like this, are rounded, but they're very clean like this. So this is already showing an example of what the Adminimal theme will look like, just out of the box. If I go to the content area, for adding content, you can see that this is the table, and I'll add some content maybe to show you what it looks like, but you can see that it has hover rows, and obviously 7 doesn't have that. If I were to go to the different columns that are selected, it has that capability. And again, you can see the colorful button that stands out compared to just gray on gray on gray. Let's see. And on the configuration page, instead of just boxes, you can see that it added icons for each of the sections. So that makes it so that you can look at the icons and possibly make it easier to know which section you're on. So it's subtle things, and it's, like I said, it's a minimalist admin theme, so that's kind of the point. Obviously, it's not going to go crazy with everything, but it's going to definitely help. You can see this is the module filter, has added a nice clean search on the top. So if I let's see, go like that, it automatically will pull in the modules for me. And you can also see that the buttons here are different. So that's on a D7 site. On a D8 site, you can see that it's different in that the menu is over here, and it's you can toggle it. I've added that toolbar admin menu, so this is what that looks like when it's on like a desktop right here. So if I go like this and go like this is what it looks like on a phone. Okay, and then again, it does has some of the same stuff, but it's different looking than the D7 version. They changed some items, so and it is Drupal 8 ready. But one of the things I noticed is that the icons are not here, so that's something I'll be reporting on their site because I'm sure they're supposed to be there. So that's pretty. Did anybody have any questions while I just kind of do the basics? Yeah.
Is the D7 Admiral responsive?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you just show what that looks like?
Yeah. Got like a home. When I added that menu, that's what that looks like. So that's D7.
And one other question too about D8. Are there any, I feel like with D7, there are admin customizations that most Drupal developers like to do right out of the box.
Yeah.
Just get rid of a menu system.
Yeah.
Are there similarly things that you like to do in DA or that people like to do in DA just right out of the box to improve the admin menu, theme right out of the box?
Yeah, and it gives you that capability.
So I meant like, is there anything that you like to do in addition to installing Adminimal?
I'm comfortable with how it is here. I haven't done anything in addition to what it has. I'm comfortable with what they've done with the admin menu. It's pretty simple and clean, and it works. And I've tried it on different devices, and so I don't, I haven't tried anything in addition to that. So, and you had a question? That's okay. If you remember it, just let me know. And anybody else? No? Okay. So that's just the basic out of the box Adminimal. I'll still do some more demo stuff in just a moment. So let's see here. So I'll go past that. Show and hide the skins on the admin pages. Under D7, I'll show you that. That's how you toggle the skin options. The default is at minimal default. There's one called material, and I don't know if it's in beta version. It's based off, I don't know why I took that off here, but it's based off of the Google Android Lollipop platform.
The Android version.
Thank you. And it's in beta version, so they said it seemed to work, but they said it might not work completely perfectly right now. And there's also one called alternative. So I'll show you how you can do that right now on here. So what you do is you go on appearance, you go to the settings for Adminimal, and you can see that there's several options right here. It's already set on Adminimal default, which is what we are doing right here. I'll first just change it to alternative. So just right then it changed it. Let's see here. There's like tons different. I don't really see a difference. So I will go away from that. This is material. You could see that it's got the green warning. It's a box. Everything's kind of green. The button's now a bright green. You can see the content is kind of a muted blue or whatever, and things are different. But that's based off of that lollipop look again. So you could do that, and you can also create your own skins. If I go to, let's see if I have it in here. So this is the Adminimal theme right here. You could just create your own, and just based off of the default, and then just add your own properties to it, and then just add it to the theme settings file, and it would be exactly what you want. So that would be the first thing. Let's see. Now under Adminimal customizations, you could see that the checkboxes and radio buttons is already checked. Display icons on the configuration, you could toggle that. So that is the icons that we saw in the configuration. You could turn that off if you wanted to. You could use rounded buttons as default, is the default behavior. You could turn that off if you wanted to. Sticky form actions, positioned at the bottom, you could turn that on if you wanted to. You could avoid using Open Sans font. You could turn off open CK editor support, and you can use the custom media queries like we talked about, which just would add to the responsive properties that are already there. So if you wanted to, you're talking about just add to like the menu or do certain things, you could do that and add to the media queries that are there. And then this final thing, if you wanted to add additional CSS, then you could do that. So I'll show an example of this right here. I created just a quick CSS file. If you wanted to add some quick branding for your company, you just click that. Actually, I'm going to change to the default, and I have that on. So now you can see I have the Acme Corporation on the very top. So that's how you could, you know, put branding on the top of the admin theme. So, and you could change the background color. You could do whatever you want from this document. So if I went over here, CSS. Right here, that's the document that has the file. And I could, you know, if I wanted to change the background color to orange. Which will look terrible, but maybe not. So it's that quick. So you could see the power of what kind of things you could do with your own, you know, admin menu, admin theme. So, so you could really customize it for each client. And, you know, when, you know, for us as a company at ProMet, I could see us creating a separate style sheet for each client that comes in and having that be unique for each one. So, let's see. There is a way to add a logo to your site. I just showed you how you can do it using CSS. There's also a way to do it within the settings. And that's pretty much what I have. So if you have questions, if you remembered what you were going to ask, that'd be cool. And here's my contact information if you have any others after my presentation. So does anybody have any questions about anything? Yep.
So that module filter thing, that was the module filter is a good module.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to process back
Yeah, if you just install it along with the Adminimal admin theme, it will automatically, it just works with it. So
those modules that it works with.
if you go, it has the Admiral Menu here. I think normally on the demo site it actually does say the module filter, but because that's down, it doesn't have that on there. So, yeah, it has. I know. It's kind of annoying. So, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much with that, so. This here?
Yeah.
I could just go like this. Do you mean make it larger with CSS, or do you mean make it larger?
Yeah,
Okay. I could.
I'm just curious how you do that because
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that'd be a case where what we talked about, in that CSS document, you just go and, yeah, you just inspect it. Probably using media queries actually, so that they did it for desktop, and get that class, and then, you know, for desktop, make it bigger. Yeah, make the text larger.
So are all the classes in the theme, just some like Adminimal or something, so it's easy to target?
Yeah, they
Like overview.
they are located in here. So if I go to so for this Drupal 7, obviously, I don't know if you guys know the difference between the way the files are structured in Drupal 7 and Drupal 8, but for Drupal 7, obviously, it's, normally cites all themes, as we know. So let's see, all themes, Adminimal. So all of this stuff's located within here, and so you have mobile, and you have tablet. So you would just add, yeah, and add that in there. And then, this Adminimal custom, it created that automatically, and then I just, started adding my own code in that, and that's where you can add the colors or background or, those kinds of customizations, like the menu stuff. If it didn't relate to the media queries, you could add those in there. In Drupal 8, obviously, here's the, you would go straight to themes. You can see it's right there. So it's a little bit different because it has the libraries.yaml, and so things are done a little bit differently. So, like that. But it still has the same, even though it has a little bit different setup, it uses the same setup, really. So, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
Does the theme require any extra encrypt modules as dependencies? So like, and all that kind of stuff is, font optional libraries and stuff, and icon stuff.
Mhm.
Here,
No, it comes with it. The icons are with it. So
by itself.
yeah, you could install it minimal without anything. I mean, even without module filter, really, and it would work fine. Module filter just adds that extra, you item. So I would definitely go with that. In fact, if you look up, excuse me, if you look up any installs that have like drush commands on installing Adminimal, it generally comes with Adminimal, the admin menu, or Toolbar, depending on which version you do, and module filter automatically, just because that's the best way to work with it. Yeah, yeah. So, but it definitely, I'll say on a personal case, I've had one client that had actually, I believe it was Ember. They didn't like it. It had the pop-up admin messages at the very top, and it was very, for them it was very annoying, and they just didn't like it, and they asked for us to do a new admin theme, and I had worked with it minimal a little bit, so I just looked at it and I was like, well, let's just try this. So I went ahead and uploaded it and asked them how they liked it, just out of the box, didn't add anything to it, and they just, I swear, it was like we had just saved the world, and that's all I did. I just uninstalled their other theme and installed that theme, and it was a very happy client. I had another client that are very tech savvy. And I was on a call with them, and we were talking about the admin theme. I said, actually, I wanted to, um, I was thinking about installing this thing called Adminimal, and he was like, yes, I love it. I've heard about it. I know it. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I'm actually going to be giving a presentation, so I'm going to be studying up on some of the customizations because that's what he was kind of wondering about. So, I mean, it's really becoming more and more popular. It's obviously got a lot of installs. More and more people are using it. It's just it's got the capability of being able to customize it in a lot of different ways. So, but you could just use just the basic version very easily. So I really like it. So.
Was there a learning curve for them? Switching to the things that they felt like they could find and feedback on that?
No, they didn't have any problem finding anything at all. The first client,
Yeah.
yeah, no, it was easy. They said it was just very, very easy to find everything, and it was just very clean, and they gave a lot of great feedback. In fact, I'll forward it to you later, but yeah, they actually did give good feedback, so.
And what does it look like with workbench or workload?
That's a good question. I think just because it follows just a basic, you know, set of, themes with tables and the headings and all of that, I think it would just follow that same look, and it, with the form elements and everything else, that I think it would just, like just with the check boxes and all of that, it would just be very, it would look pretty nice. But I haven't looked at it with Workbench, but I bet it would look very good. I think it would look similar, personally, I think it would look similar to like this kind of setup, because Workbench is, with the table rows and this kind of thing. So, and also with the modules, you could see that it adds these right there, and you could see just a little bit of color, but not too much, kind of thing. I think that it would be nice. So, I haven't done it. I could do it right now. I don't know if I have time. Do I have time? You want me to try it?
Well, no issues. It's great. Good.
Good.
Workbench.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'll just go ahead and do this one. I'll just do it on D7. If that's cool, it's D7, okay? Okay. I'll do it. This is gonna be a never ending, isn't it? See change.
Yeah,
Is views and chaos suite, I remember?
it's going
I'll just make sure. Is the other one? Yes. That's good. Okay. So, Yeah, I've not used Workbench in a while. Isn't it here? Oh, yeah. But isn't the configuration here? I'll just go here. So I must have to install like the Workbench suite, right? Hmm. Um, it has a UI, but I think it's I didn't see one. Yeah, I think it just covered it. There it is. I don't have anything. Just do taxonomy, I guess. Just see anything I have. Okay, menu. No. Well, I have what? Main menu. Navigation. Maybe. Okay. There we go. So there's your editors, your roles, your sections, your settings, and that's just access. I mean, you have moderation, obviously. If I added it to the nodes, then that's going to add the draft and all of that. So if I went to add content for an article, that would be down here. So that would just add that drop down right here. You want me to do that too? No. So. So, it's I really like it. So it's just a lot simpler and cleaner and easy to explain to the clients than other things that I've used in the past. So I think when you have something that just has so many icons, it's just too much. And I think when you have something that's way too simple, then I thought about, oh, maybe I can add to that very simple, like 7. Maybe I can add to that. This it's like, wow, somebody kind of created something that's a little bit more stylized than 7, but not way too stylized. So that's why I kind of advocate for it. So that's pretty much it. So.
One of the things we've done, because we'll eventually be moving all of our sites to Drupal 8, there's a module called Navbar that in Drupal 7 mimics the Drupal 8 nav module. So
Yeah.
I've started including that, so people start getting used to that.
Yeah, there's actually, I went to, and I can't remember if it was, I don't think it was DrupalCorn, I don't remember which one it was, but Dave Reed gave a wonderful talk on, what you can do to your Drupal 7 site to make it so that it looks like a Drupal 8 site, and, Navbar obviously is one of the modules that you can do, but he created, they created several modules that will allow your Drupal 7 site to look like a Drupal 8 site, and I think that's great because if you have a Drupal 8 site and you want to have your not your employees but your staff get ready for that move and not be a complete mind blank, then I think that would be a good way to start that process and have the nav bar and have those different elements added to it. So I think that I'll have to look and find it. If I do find it, I'll add that link to my my page for this talk, because I think that that might go along with helping out with making this admin theme work with a Drupal 8, a 7 site work looking like the Drupal 8 version. So, but it was a very good talk. So, gave a lot of examples. So, is that it? Good? Okay, I'm done.